Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jaleesa Jagran and I'm a makeup artist and beauty influencer. So let's get right into it. If you're new to my channel, hi, thank you for watching. The birth of this series, The Life of a Makeup Artist, was for me to create the content that I couldn't find when I was living in Trinidad, looking to do things in New York, looking to follow my dreams. And you know, especially Fashion Week was like one of my biggest dreams, and I couldn't find some of the videos talking about like what's it backstage, like oh my god, like how does this work, how does that work. And I made a video a couple of years ago when I first started doing Fashion Week, and I had like 6 passes and I was so happy and proud of that. And you know, I'm grateful now that I've done way more shows in Milan and Paris and more in New York. And I've gotten so many messages and DMs, and you know, people are asking me like, okay, so how do you get backstage? And that's one thing I haven't really like touched on in its entirety. So that's what this video is about. If you want to learn more about that, I'm gonna give as much information as I can, especially, you know, I live in New York right now. I'm in Portland for Erica Carr's I'm Going to Class event, which is an amazing event that you guys should check out if you're looking for like good, amazing education. But I had a long day and I'm just like, all right, let's push through. So I'm gonna make this video tonight. So pretty much I have a couple of questions from my inbox that I'm gonna answer, and then I'm gonna like go into, I'm gonna, you know, expound on it a little bit more, because like I said, I've gotten so many questions on like how to get to Fashion Week, how to do certain things, and I'm gonna tell you how I did it, and then there are other ways that you can do it, because it's not, everybody's journey is different, everybody's process in their career it's always different. So I'm gonna just start into I'm gonna start into these questions, and these oh my god, who is these questions from? I'm gonna put your name right here because I screenshot your message but it's not here for some reason. So okay, so how did I break into the industry and get noticed? So when I first moved to New York, honestly, I had a couple friends here that already lived here, and I would go to a lot of events, and that's why, like, even, I mean, this video is not about the event that I'm at right now this week, but I'm in Portland for this event that I just mentioned, I'm Going to Class. And when I first moved to New York, I really, like, I ran after education, and not because I was like, oh, well, I was looking for opportunity. I just genuinely wanted to learn and, you know, meet new people, and like I was eager to learn. So, you know, going to these events is like, do you think that, you know, so let's say your end goal is Fashion Week, since, you know, this is the topic of the video. By going to an event, it's not like, oh, let me go to this event so I can go do this Fashion Week show with whoever. You literally don't know who you're gonna meet at these events. It might not be anybody that has to do with any Fashion Week. You might just make a new friend, but you might meet somebody who lives in your city who might recommend you for a show 2 years later, and then you might learn a technique that will strengthen your artistry. So one thing I would say is like breaking into the industry. When I first moved to New York, I worked at Mac, you know, and that's something that I didn't really you know, not that I didn't care. I loved working at Mac, but when I came to New York, I decided, okay, I didn't want to be a manager, and I'm like gonna do my own thing. So I worked my job. Literally, I tell people it doesn't matter what you do, part-time, full-time, whatever you have to do for money, you do your thing, and then you can brand, because you know, social media is like what you decide to present anyway, so you can put whatever you want to put out there. So while I worked at Mac, I would freelance part-time. So it was almost like I was like working 2 jobs. So sometimes, you know, I'm not sure if you guys know, but when I first started, when I first moved to New York, I reached out to Kabuki, and that's how I started like assistant Kabuki, and I have, you know, become his first assistant, and you know, that's how I really got into like doing fashion shows and stuff. So my situation was different because the store that I worked at was open like 20 hours a day. So my days off used to be during the week, which was very convenient because that's when jobs are really happening. So I would, sometimes a job would be like, I don't know, like just God is on my side, whatever you want to believe, but I'm just like, God is on my side, because a lot of those jobs always happened when my days off were going on. Like Wednesday. My days off Wednesday, Thursday. Sometimes it'll be a Tuesday. I might have call out, but like most of the time it was always midweek. And I was super grateful for that. And when it wasn't midweek, I just made it work because that was my dream. Being on set, being on these big magazine shoots with celebrities, and I feel like breaking into the industry, like some people say they've never assisted, and that's fine. Like everybody has a different way of doing things, but this was my goal. My goal was to get into fashion. My goal was to the thing is like, it's not like I just picked Kabuki's name out of a hat. Like these are people that I studied, I watched their work. I've like watched them since I was living in Trinidad, and when I came to New York, it was just like such an honor to just even be, in front of this person, working with this person, talking with this person. So, and obviously he's not the only one. I've assisted other people as well. But like I was saying, you don't have to assist, but if you want to get into certain parts of the industry, assisting is a very good way to get into the industry. If you live in an area where it's like, okay, maybe you don't live in New York, maybe you don't live in LA, or Chicago, or one of those big states, or you live in another country, because I know a lot of you from other countries watch my videos. It's like sometimes if you're a younger makeup artist, and let's say there's somebody who wants, let's just say you have nothing to do with Fashion Week and you do more bridal and you want to get into Fashion Week, and somebody asks you to assist them on a job or whatever. And if you want to, I feel like sometimes if you want to learn and you're new, it's good to just learn from other people. And it's always good to just put yourself in a situation where you don't always do the same things. And I have a quote that Nikki Posley said today that I wrote down. He says that it's freeing to break from your own habits and question them. And this was the question around, do you do eyes first or skin first? Like, it doesn't matter actually. Sometimes I might want to do eyes first because I'm doing something that might get messy, and maybe it shouldn't get messy because I'm using too much product, but maybe I just want to do the eyes first, or maybe I just want to perfect the skin first. So it's like, it's freeing to break from your own habits, and not just in makeup artistry, but the way that you do things, the way that you approach people, the way that you're always shy, or you don't say hi, or those are things that you as a makeup artist, you don't have to be the most bubbly person, you don't have to be a go-getter or everybody's friend, oh my god, but you might want to put yourself in situations where it's like you just go and get it and you feel it. I've done it before. I've walked up and spoke to people, and it was just my whole world was crumbling inside, and it eventually turned out to be good for me because I stepped out of my comfort zone, and it led to opportunities, it led to learning lessons, and I don't regret any of it at all. So really, me breaking into the industry was going to events, meeting people, meeting brands, just talking to people, hearing about their journey, learning from them, and that really assisted me and gave me motivation to when I was leaving my job, and all these different type of things, and assisting. So working with other makeup artists, whether it was not on Fashion Week, whether it was other jobs, just helping out people and seeing their process, and that learning those little things build up my skill. Yeah, I think that's it. Woo, that was a run-on sentence, honey. Oh my god. All right, so the next question is, what was the first show that you ever worked on? All right, so let me tell you what happened. So I was at work one day at Mac, and the skirt's kind of short. You can't see anything. Okay, I was at work, and I remember I had sent an email to, no, actually, the first show so there's two types of shows. There are official Fashion Week shows, and there are just regular, other Fashion Week shows, like Style Week and all these different things, whatever. The first show I ever did, I think I did my first fashion show in Trinidad, and I was the lead, and this was right before I moved to New York. Then when I moved to New York, my first show officially is so this is how I invested in my career and into myself. There was a class actually by James Vincent, and they were having this class for doing fashion week and learning how to do like work fast and coming up with your own mood boards and coming up with your own like direction and all these different things for the show and the makeup, and you had to go up and explain why you did this design and what makeup you're gonna do, and then you had to execute the makeup. So after you execute the makeup, you take pictures, they walk around, blah blah blah. And this was a class that I paid for. And oh my god, we have a special guest. Let's pause this.
Oh my god.
So we have Me Keller.
Wait.
Warrior B. I'm saying it correct.
Yes.
Okay.
I gotta take my sweatshirt off so I can be cute.
Yeah, and take the lanyard off too.
I was going to. God.
Okay, so I'm just in the middle of the conversation of like Fashion Week and how to get into Fashion Week, because on my YouTube and stuff I've spoken about.
Hi
This
guys.
is Me Keller Warrior B. She has worked Fashion Week as well, and she
Yes,
actually
I
put me
have.
onto one of my first shows, which is like a great segue because I was
Oh
told,
my gosh, that's so crazy. That's true.
right. So what I was telling them is like I've spoken about like being backstage and all these different things, but I haven't spoken about how to actually get into Fashion Week. So what I've spoken about so far is just like how I broke into the industry. And then I was going and somebody asked, like I have a ton of questions here, like what was my first show? And I was telling them that I invested in my career because the first time I did a fashion show was James Vincent was having a Fashion Week class, and it was like a boot camp kind of thing. And you had to pay for the class, and then somebody was gonna, whoever did well in the class, they were gonna give somebody an opportunity. And I think I was the only one. It was probably me and somebody else of a class of like 10 or 15 people. So like you have to kind of put yourself out there and invest in yourself. You can't say, well, I want to do Fashion Week and I'm not willing to do free shows, or because that's how it starts out. Like that show that I paid to go to a class and then I didn't get paid, and it doesn't matter because the relationships that I built at that show, like some of those people are my actual friends. And you sometimes get products, sometimes you don't. So I would still like for you to kind of like, so what I was talking about the show with Me Keller, one of the other first shows that I did, the first show that I did was Tumblr and Tipsy with James Vincent. So that's how that conversation came about.
Oh my god, I've done Tumblr and Tipsy with James Vincent.
Right. So and that's how I met Michael Chua and who, you know, we're all cool now. And the actual first show with Kabuki was my first official New York Fashion Week show was with Kabuki, and that's when I reached out to them, and they emailed me. I was like, are you available for the show? And I was like at work by myself, the store was dead, and I was like, I went down on the ground and I was like, oh my god, like I wanted to cry. And then like 20 minutes later I get an email and they were like, oh, they cut the number of models for this show, so we won't need you. Girl,
dead. I would have wept.
My heart went like this, and then it just went like this. And girl, you know me. So I emailed them back and I was like, oh my god, thank you so much, no problem at all, but if you still need an extra hand, I'm willing to come. So basically they were cutting me from the show because they wasn't going to be able to pay me, but I was just like, who's trying to get paid? I'm trying to just be in that space. I need to just be there. And ever since that's how I started really working with Kabuki. Like, and the thing is like I didn't really even have a connection with him at the show because he was busy. He was all on the other side. But you know, like I said, you have to invest in yourself and your career. And like I guess I got noticed, and I just did what I had to do, mind my business, and that's how that came about. But I would love to have a little bit of your perspective on like getting into like Fashion Week. Let me maybe give you breaking into the industry and getting into specifically Fashion Week, because that's what we're focusing on.
I mean, honestly, I think the key on any level, there's multiple ways that you can get into Fashion Week and get onto shows, but I think at a base level, it's about relationships.
Yes.
100% is about relationships. You can have a relationship with a brand. You can have a relationship with an artist. You can have an artist that's a key, or an artist that's on a team and assisting and helping to find other artists.
And one thing I said earlier too is that right now we're at Erica Carr's event, and sometimes you don't come to these events to try and make those opportunities happen, because it might happen a year later or 2 years later. But when you put yourself in a space to meet new people and get out of your comfort zone, good things come out of that.
Absolutely, 100%. It's all about, I know it's a corny and cliche phrase, but your network literally increases your net worth. It's about how you connect with people, how you present yourself, the value that people perceive that you're able to offer, and things like that, and that you can be a solid team member. And obviously the artistry, but a lot of it is the personality and the positivity, etc., that you're pleasant, that you're hardworking. And I'm going to tell you right now, one of the reasons that Jaleesa may have worked with Kabuki and not gotten paid for that first show, and I've been in situations that I didn't get paid, but the way that you move forward is hard work ethic, being a reliable person, being loyal, focusing, etc. Those things, they help to make a way for you.
Yeah, and I would also want to say that one of my other first shows, because now it's like a blur, but it was actually McCulloch that hired me on a show from Mayron. And I don't think we met. Were we just Facebook friends?
I think we were just Facebook or like Instagram friends or something like that.
Yeah, because groups and makeup groups and stuff was still like a real Facebook.
Absolutely.
Anyway, chat line kind of vibe. And, so I don't know how we were friends, but
no, I think we had interacted some, but I just like the manner in which Jaleesa presented herself was, one, she was reliable, she was a good artist, she was someone who obviously had a positive disposition. She's extra. But from that, I was like, oh, this is a person that I may not necessarily know personally, because at that time I hadn't even lived in New York for an extended period of time. So I didn't know a lot of people so personally that I could personally vet for them. But she presented herself as a person that I could be confident in referring to a job and not thinking that she would embarrass me, basically. And so I was happy to give her the referral to work on the show.
Yeah, and that show was like, it was at the World Trade Center before it even opened.
Yep.
We were on like 40th, 60th floor or something.
Most of the floors weren't even open.
Yeah, it was incredible. And like, the bag of makeup, like I feel like I've reviewed some of this stuff on my channel here because it was insane.
I think we almost got the full collection of Mayron like beauty makeup.
Yeah, it was insane.
And that's
the thing. Like the thing is like it's just I feel like who you are is like how things will come to you, because I didn't do anything for that opportunity. Nope. So I feel like once you put it out there and once you, like I said, I always write things down and like whatever you put out there will come back to you. So wait, let's go to the next question actually, because I would love to hear, did you go to school or are you self-taught?
I am primarily self-taught, but I did readily invest in education from the beginning of my career. The first class I ever taught, I wasn't even like really clear that I wanted to be a makeup artist, and I took a class with Sam Fine in like 2009 or 2008 or something like that. He came to DC and did a class. I don't think Sam Fine was even doing classes then. He had just, I think, released his new book, and I took a class then, and I've continuously taken master classes or classes from masters since then, but I've never been to a traditional school. Makeup or cosmetology school.
Okay, so I was never, I didn't go to school. I just like did courses and stuff, and I also just worked at MAC for 5 years. But let's go into like, how do you actually get onto Fashion Week? And I know you answered the question with relationships, and I would have to agree, but if you live in like New York, LA, or whatever, like it doesn't matter. Like I've known people who live in like DC and like other states, and you listen, you listening? People do not need to know where you live, okay? If your desire is to come to New York, they don't need to know like, oh, because when I think of McCulloch, I don't want to be like, oh shit, but she's in DC.
Nope.
Because you'll be willing to come for this show.
Yep.
So you just have to, you just figure it out, And I know a lot of makeup artists and hairstylists and other people, because when I first came to New York, I did a class with Crystal, right? It's called PYP. It's like more on the business side of things. And that's where I learned a lot of stuff, like getting into Fashion Week. That's how I started working with Kabuki and all these different things, because you learn more business. But you have to reach out to agencies, kind of have, you kind of have to be, I don't tenacious. You have to be
like strategic and persistent.
Yeah, persistence. Because I mean, and now like we've done tons of shows, but there are some agencies I've never heard back from. Like literally, and that's just the way that it goes. And you can't be mad, you can't be salty because other opportunities will come to you. And when I say reaching out to an agency, this means that you're not just sending an old email like, hi, I would love to assist, like thanks so much, here's my work. No, you say, okay, let me go on the agency roster. Okay, these are the people that I'm interested in. Let's say this person is McCulloch. You send, if they just have a blank email, you can try and do more digging and see if you can find the email, or if there's the agent email. You say, hi, my name is Julissa Jagran. I'm a makeup artist in New York City. I really, really love McCulloch Warabi's work. I especially the work that she did on, September's Vogue cover. It's my favorite. I would love to work with her. I am quick, I'm hardworking, I'm always on time. Here is my work. They might be like, oh, cute. They might even respond. They mightn't see it. And that's the thing, I feel like, even just in life, I feel like we send one thing, we don't hear back, and we go back inside. So when we're writing the email, we're like, yes, I'm productive, I'm doing it. But then when you don't hear back, you kind of you go back in your shell because you're disappointed. But there's no reason to be disappointed because it's never about you. The agent could have been busy, dealing with tons of things. It has nothing to do with you.
Don't take it personally. Yeah. Not about you at all.
Yeah, or they might have enough assistance, and then one day they're gonna be like, oh shucks, we need like 4 more people for this job, and boom, here comes your email. So really just being professional, knowing how to write emails first of all. DMing, I mean, I guess DMing works at some point, but like not DMing, but sending comments on Instagram. I would love to work with you.
It's called social media for a reason. You want to be social.
Yeah. And like the thing is like you can send an email and then you can always interact with them on social media, so your name becomes a little bit more
somewhat familiar to them. I feel like that's the part of like the relationship building. Some of that organic. Like if you're really loving somebody, don't just double tap their picture and keep moving. Like make a comment, like regularly interact with them, like in an authentic way.
Yeah, not thirsty.
Don't be thirsty. Don't be that person that's like putting 20 hearts. Oh my God, I just died. I resurrected. Like, oh my God, it was amazing. Oh, sorry. I mean, but if you say it from a sincere place. No, I've said things like that before, like, oh my God, like, girl, I died, like, give me my edges back. Like, we all say that. But you're serious. Like, but don't just, like, constantly regurgitate those insincere sentiments in people's comments, because people feel those things, and, be real about it.
Yeah.
And it'll happen.
Yeah. So I really feel like, honestly, that's how you get into Fashion Week relationships with either brands. Because, like, if you work for MAC, you might get onto the freelance MAC team. Or if you work for NARS, they only hire their artists. There's people like Glam Squad that hire their artists.
Yeah, I mean, and Miron, like, the reason I was able to refer you to the job with Miron is because I was doing regular work with Miron as a freelance artist and, as a consultant of sorts. And so when they were, casting artists, I was like, oh, I got y'all.
Yeah.
I definitely got some recommendations.
Perfect. So, relationships, brands, agencies. Yeah. I think that's about it.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much how and the relationships are either going to come from a brand, an agency, or an artist. Maybe you know the key, or maybe you know somebody that's on the team and word is out that they need more people on the team.
And that's how I got onto a lot of shows.
Yeah, exactly. I got onto a lot of shows because of artist referrals. I just, obviously, Julissa referred me to the Namilia show. Yeah. I think with Kabuki. Yeah. So that's how I worked that show. And
I got onto the Tom show, Ralph Lauren, because of a friend. So that's just how it goes.
Yeah.
You just kind of have, and the thing is like you always want to make sure that you're hardworking and you're reliable, because like if I recommend McCulloch and she doesn't do a good job,
it's going to reflect poorly on Julissa.
And I'm
So
not
you're
about
not.
that life.
So nobody's about to refer you if you even have an iota of an inkling that you're not going to perform as necessary. The first show I think I ever worked on, like real New York Fashion Week, what is the CDFA like list, was Cynthia Raleigh with James Vincent.
That's a good show.
And I think I got onto that show, from building a relationship with James through like working at the makeup show and just being like a nice and decent person. And as quoted from James Vincent, I'm a workhorse. So he was like, he knows that I'm gonna come and I'm gonna do what I need to do.
Yeah. So that's pretty much it. I feel like, and obviously this was like a total organic moment, but let me introduce you. This is McCulloch Warabi.
Hi. Yes, that was quite correct, honey, because I would have been like,
because part of the family.
Basically, she comes and eats my jollof rice in my house, but okay, yes.
And she's a friend of mine, an amazing makeup artist and an educator at Makeup Forever. I am releasing my podcast for the life of a makeup artist next month. We're gonna have more conversations like this.
Will you be on the podcast?
This is what I'm getting into.
Okay.
She's going to be on the podcast. So I know if you guys enjoy this, which I'm sure you've had, we're gonna have more conversations, not with just me, Keller, but a ton of other makeup artists. Sometimes it's just a little bit more difficult to do video, so I'm gonna still do these videos and answer questions, but we're gonna really dive into it. So in December, look out for that. And be sure to share this video, like, comment, do all that fun stuff. I will leave McCulloch's info in the down bar as well, so you guys can give her a follow. She does great, amazing work. And yeah, if you have any questions, comments, let me know if you like this video. And I think we're good.
I think we're done.
Yeah. Good night.
Good night.
Oh God, wait. I'm tired.
Mind you, I still need to do my fucking Instagram story, bitch. I was coming in here to do that and ended up